Everyone, what's happening? So, Coutinho's gone now. It's unveiled. It's all very, very sad, upsetting, whatever. He's gone. Liverpool have got £142 million burning a hole in their arse pocket. That means that we should be speculating wildly as to how that money should be spent. Added to that, Jason Burt has just done an interview on the Anfield Index podcast with the wonderful Sachin Nakrani, and the quote that come off the back of that was really interesting, is that Liverpool are having interesting target, one that's not one of the names that's being mentioned or bandied around already, which means it's not Riyad Mahrez, it's not, I guess it's not Alisson, the Roma goalkeeper, it's not this talk that Naby Keita could come in early in January. And it's not Lamar as well, theoretically, because that's been very, very much on the radar. Everyone's been talking about that for months and months now. So, for a start, if you're watching this, I want some speculation as to who that could be. Let's go mad. I mean, for start, Adam Richardson saying Android Townsend would be a great purchase for us. Yeah, I mean, no, because for a start, I mean, that would be more interesting if Andros Townsend was an Android. You'd get more guaranteed results out of him, certainly. But yeah, leave some in the comments. I personally, for me, I think Liverpool need to go out there and make a signing that, you know, impresses the world, that lets world football know that we mean business, because the PR hit that they've taken by letting Phil Coutinho go mid-season, when all you're going to see, theoretically, most clubs, you go to them in January and say, we want your best player, which is what Liverpool will need to do. Liverpool will need to go to a club that's lower down the pecking order than them in the Premier League or in Europe, whatever, and say, we want your best player, because only the best players are going to get into Liverpool's first 11 at this point, or first 15, let's say. Most of those clubs are not going to want to weaken themselves midway through a season, and the longer the transfer window drags on, the more likely it is they're not going to be able to get a replacement in for those players, and it's going to make those deals harder. Just look at the Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal stuff. They were prepared to let him to go to Man City, but they didn't in the end because they knew they couldn't spend that money to get someone in to save them for this season. So it's going to be an interesting one. But for me, Liverpool need to go out there and they need to go and make something happen. And those names for me, and I'm actually seeing a few mentions of it. Let me see if I can go back through the comments and just check if who actually said it, so I can give you a little bit of due credit. I cannot find it, so never mind. If you said Oblak, then correct. He's one of them. Liverpool should be going. Look, I would be going around world football now, looking at the top players and looking at the players who've got release clauses. Two of those players, Oblak, apparently it's around £50 million, and I'm told that Anton Griezmann is up there with 80 or 80 plus. If that's true. Now, here's the thing. With someone like Griezmann, you've got to convince him that Liverpool are the right option, because look, Barcelona are a potential transfer. We know Man United, we're going to get him in the summer prior to Atletico's transfer ban. Anton Griezmann's the one for me. I would go all out. I would go full bore on him. I would give him the full Klopp effect. I would be sneaking him in under the cover of night. I'd be having him do some sort of like halo drop. Like he did in one of the James Bond films, so that he escapes radar detection. Drop him in through the window of his house. Jurgen Klopp lands, bursts through the window, goes, ha! Boom, gives him a big hug and then convince him to join Liverpool. Or as an outside shout, and in terms of being perfect for what Liverpool need to do, and that's to remind the world football that we're not everyone's bitch. We're not Barcelona's bitch boys, even though we clearly are to some extent. Remind people of the pecking order in the Premier League is to go to Arsenal with a bid they can't reject for Alexis Sanchez. And again, you've got one more go. Now, look, he would probably choose Man City, but it's not my job to convince him. I think I could. I think I could do a dynamite job of convincing him. Take him the cavern. Take him to tavern for a brekkie. Show him literally the only places, two of them are the only places I go in this city, but take him to Belvale, take him to CEX in Belvale, take him charity shopping in the Old Swan, and I think that will probably be enough to convince Alexis Sanchez. But you know what, Jurgen Klopp will probably do it bigger and better. Let him have a go at that. Reality is not for us to worry about right now, only flights of transfer fancy. If Liverpool could get Alexis Sanchez done, if we could snatch him away from Arsenal, and we know they will accept a bid because they want to get something out of him. There's, you know, if it's 25 million or it's 40 million, 50 million, whatever, pay something ridiculous because we know they will accept. and then it's basically blow Man City's offer out the water. Man City, I think, will reach a limit on what they pay for him. If we double that offer because we've got the money to spend, that might leave us as the only people actually who are able to talk to him, and then we leave the decision to Sanchez. Does he want to stay at Arsenal and finish 5th or 6th and maybe have a decent run in the Europa League and maybe, you know, maybe have a tilt at the League Cup? Or does he want to come and be part of something for 2 or 3 years and maybe build something really, really good and play in the Champions League as well? They're the things that Liverpool got to offer. That's the thing that I think Jurgen Klopp should be doing. I've seen people saying Milinkovic, Savage, Nathan Redmond, says Craig Kelly. No, we riot. If it's Nathan Redmond, we riot. Pjanic says so, Donald Fine. Rice, Stefan Telmar. Yeah, absolutely. Luis Suarez, imagine if Luis Suarez bought Phil Coutinho the house next door to him and then moved out and moved back to Liverpool. Yeah, Tadic. No, not Tadic. Plenty of suggestions. Keep them coming in the comments below. But for me, if we could get Alexis Sanchez from Arsenal, flight of fancy though it may be, it sends a message. It puts Arsenal in their place. It puts Liverpool back on the up. I think it makes Liverpool's team and squad better because I think he's a better player than Phil Coutinho right here and now. And we get to kick on. We have a good Champions League, hopefully. We have a good league, end of the league campaign, and make a good fist of the FA Cup, and then we look towards the summer and we look towards the future with hope in our heart, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Just my opinion on what Liverpool should do and who that interesting target might be. For what it's worth, if you can, if you're watching, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel already. I think we smashed through 25,000 up to 26,000. Let's go for 30, let's go for 50, let's go for 100. If you're watching, you want that to be a thing, give the video a like and subscribe. Nice one, everyone. Enjoy your day. Ta-ra.